Well, hello there, and welcome to A Film a Day with me, Jordan Woodley. Well, we're delving into Disney Plus. Not only are we delving into Disney Plus, I am finally getting to watch a film that came out during the course of this series, but I actively avoided. Not because of the quality of the film, not for any anti-Disney, well, sort of an anti-Disney reasons, but no broad anti-Disney reasons, and not because it would sabotage sort of the flow of my programming. In fact, my view count would probably do better if I had done this at the time. However, and I suppose the first segment of this video is more going to be about why I didn't watch Raya and the Last Dragon originally, and it's the same reason why I've not rewatched Black Widow. And it's as simple as I absolutely do not agree with their pricing strategy in terms of charging an additional fee, an extortionate additional fee, on top of the subscription model that they have. Now, I understand the logic behind it, which is people will be willing to watch things like Raya and the Last Dragon, people will be willing to watch things like Black Widow, these are the people were willing to watch Mulan, but at £30 on top of an already, monthly charge of about just under £10, it just gets ridiculous. And at that point, I may as well be in the theatre. And as I've mentioned many times before, I'm a champion of the theatre. I absolutely believe we need to do what we can to save it, whilst also being COVID safe and, making good judgment based on whether someone thinks they are up to going to the cinema and feel safe and secure within it. And I do understand the pricing model. People are willing to pay, and if you're, say, a family and you're only paying £30, well, if there's four of you, that immediately means individually that's a lot less than cinema tickets. However, I'm not paying what amounts to essentially £40 between the subscription and this to watch one film. And so I've drawn a line under it. It's just not going to happen. And if they, for whatever reason, decide to take movies out of the theatre entirely and just put them on Disney Plus with an increased charge, well, I think that is then my viewing of new releases will become, or new Disney releases would become significantly diminished. Now, I don't think they are going to do that specifically, but when possible, I will go to the theatre to see films. So that's about the sort of broad strokes of it. I will actually now talk about the film. And I do wish I'd seen it at the time. I believe it was still during the period where cinemas were shut down in the UK, so it wasn't something like I could go and see it in the cinema. So this is the first opportunity I have had, well, not the first, but this is the opportunity I have had to see it after it going to general release without the paid, the premium pay model. But I do think this is a really good film, and I do think this is a unfortunate potential victim of COVID and of sort of lockdowns and the world we live in, because I think it's done well. People do talk about it and people do appreciate it, but I do think that this is a film that is diminished by the fact that it wasn't allowed to be released. In any other year, this would be a huge film, and it fulfills what I was feeling like I missed out on with Luca. And I like Luca. As I said in my video about Luca, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a sweet-natured film. I just felt like it didn't quite get the balance between personal stake and broader commentary. And it just felt like, I think Disney do wonderfully when they tell intimate stories about character relationships, and then on top of interesting world building. But I just felt like the balance was off with Luca. And I felt like, I felt like there was something missing. And I think I was also hankering for a bigger Disney film with a larger world building, larger stakes to it, more going on that Luca didn't quite provide. And it's because I was missing Raya and the Last Dragon, because I do think that fulfills that absence in terms of Disney animation quality filmmaking. Alongside Inside Out, alongside Coco, that now I don't know how I'd have felt in the cinema, whether it would have had that same powerful effect on me that both those films did. but it's a good film. It's a really good film. I mean, I like the fact that it, that you have this Chinese inflected storytelling style. Now, I don't know how much actual Chinese mythology and lore feeds into it. Of course, dragons are, these are very much Chinese dragons, and feeds into, at least is derived from that that element of world building. But where it comes to this world, I don't know how much is original Disney storytelling and how much comes from a pre-existing mythology. But I like it. I like the idea that, we have this film which has all this backstory and history, and yes, it is given to us, summarily in narration before we get to the character stuff with Raya. But I like the world building. It's very... I mean, admittedly, I got a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes from this. This has a very similar thing with, in terms of the plot beats, the idea of a character, trying to fix their world and coming across a legendary character who has been in a state of animation, suspended animation for hundreds of years, and they, along with a motley crew of allies, save the world by going from land to land to land, collecting powers, and of course are confronted by a morally questionable villain who's conflicted, who sort of serves under a much greater empire, and sort of who's the sort of the great domineering force of the world. It's very Avatar: The Last Airbender. There is a lot of parallel there, but it doesn't matter because, again, it does have its own personality. I mean, you could also make the case that this is very Disney princess, as Moana said, even though she's not wearing a dress or doing any of the sort of traditional Disney princess things, she has an animal sidekick. She, I forget some of the other, but it's very, there is something very modern Disney princess about, and she's the daughter of a leader. So, the only thing which is missing is a song, I suppose. But again, I like it, and I think Disney is smart when it walks within the footsteps of what's come before, but which walks within the footsteps of its legacy. Pocahontas could walk so that Moana could run. Mulan, the animated version, was a foundational Disney film, and I think this is very, very within that same ethos. And I'd rather see this than live action remakes. I think, I might be wrong, but I think I've talked about my feelings about the Disney live action remakes, and there's and admittedly, I haven't seen the live action Mulan, and I'm not going to. I have no plans to. I said I would stop watching Disney live action remakes after Lion King, and I'm pretty much sure I'm going to stick to that until I'm convinced otherwise. But Mulan was the first one where I just went, nope, not seeing it, and I think I made the right call because, again, it hasn't reviewed very well. And in terms of what the narrative Mulan was sort of putting forward, I just feel like this is much more a spiritual successor that in regards to representing East Asian culture, in regards to having this sort of strong female lead.
Specifically Southeast Asian. Countries of Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines and Laos.
Oh, sorry, Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Southeast Asian culture. You get that sense of... Thank you, producer wife Helen, for making sure that I am factually accurate and sort of culturally sensitive. But, like I say, I get that sense that, there's just something about it that I feel like adds to the Disney pantheon and adds to that style of storytelling. I love the fact that it had, again, in terms of Disney's representation behind the camera, in terms of voice acting, we have this huge plethora of great American Asian actors, including Sandra Oh, Gemma Chan, Benedict Wong, and Aquafina, who of course is dominating at the minute. And Raya herself, the actress, is completely. Thank you, Kelly Marie Tran. Who these are great actors, and seeing them together on hearing, I suppose, them together on screen. It's a great ensemble cast and represents sort of the steps forward in terms of representation that Disney are making. And I do think this is such a beautiful and colourful film that has all this culture to it. That it is such a fun film, and and I hope it is kept remembered amongst the Disney greats. But if it's not, it's a great gem. It is a genuinely, like the Dragon Crystals, it is a genuine gem of a film that I think will stand the test of time, and I hope it's sort of an influence to Disney's direction going forward in respect of the style, the way that they were willing to experiment and the way that they want to tell stories and create these imaginative worlds with good hearts to them and good messages as well. They don't sacrifice message for world building. It's balanced incredibly well. No, I think this is a great film. This is really fun, and I'm definitely hoping this is the step forward that Disney needs. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment below, and share the video because it's all helping in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notifications of when new videos are uploaded. Check out my back catalogue of over 200 videos, and follow me on Twitter at Jordan_Woodley, where I tweet about TV shows, films, and I share these videos once they're uploaded to YouTube, either the day of or the day after. Thank you for joining me. Take care.